Where do you know your friend from?
From Brazil.
How though?
You live near my...
He lives near you?
My wife.
Lives near your wife's?
My wife, mother.
He lives near your wife's mother's house?
Yes.
James, ask him where they met.
Using a translation program, the other man is asked how he knows his fellow passenger. And his response sets alarm bells ringing.
So they've never met and they've just met at the airport, first time ever.
Unsure why they have conflicting stories, officers continue to question the men to try to work out what is going on.
¿Qué pasó in Australia? What are you doing here?
I like Australia. It's beautiful.
Yeah, but what are you going to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to see?
It's beautiful. Florida. I went to...
Are you working here?
No.
No work at all?
The man insists he is simply here for a 45-day holiday, but he has no travel plans, no itinerary, and both men have only booked accommodation for the next 3 days.
Hablo español.
Manutenção em computer.
Non computer attenzione.
Suspecting these men may be coming here to work illegally, they will now be taken to a private interview room for further questioning.
People want to have a talk to you about why you're here, okay?
They will not be allowed to cross the border until officers find out exactly what they are up to.
What we'll do, we'll have a look in here.
In Melbourne, a biosecurity detector dog has singled out the luggage belonging to a couple arriving from China.
So this one, male. Male. Not understand.
They speak no English, but their incoming passenger card is in Mandarin, and they have only declared one item.
Only nuts. Just nuts. So, no meat, male? Male, okay. They've declared question number 7 on their cards, which is nuts. They haven't indicated any other items at all. They've indicated they're here only on holidays, so we'll just see what we find when we open up the bags.
The search doesn't start well, as Officer Neville immediately locates high-risk chicken feet.
No, you said male. Here. Hey? Not male.
And the high-risk items keep coming.
Corn. Question number 6. Vegetable. You have to say yes. You've said no. Look. Citrus, fruit. Up here, question number 6. Fruit. Too late.
Meat, fruit and vegetables are all extreme biosecurity risks, as they can introduce foreign pests and diseases to Australia.
You told me there was no food in here.
All right, okay. I'm going to look through these. Have you got anything in your pockets at the moment? Anything else?
In Sydney, Border Force officers have observed a passenger acting nervously and have pulled him aside to question him about his recent travel.
We just had a passenger arrive off a flight from Vietnam. He was quite nervous around the carousel, so I decided to bring him in for a baggage examination.
The man has spent 18 days in Vietnam, where he claims he was visiting family. But it's what he says next that raises Officer Matei's suspicions even further.
How was the flight? Good? How was your flight? Good? Food good? The food? You have something to eat?
No, dude.
Nothing to eat? Why not?
I don't like to drink. I drink the water only.
Okay. So you didn't have anything on board? Nothing to eat? No biscuits, no peanuts? Okay.
Failure to eat on a long flight is a red flag for officers, as it can indicate the passenger may be carrying narcotics internally.
So this is a swab, okay? It's for testing, all right? So
A swab will will check for traces of narcotics. And as the test is carried out, back at the bench, the passenger appears to become increasingly anxious.
You okay? You all right? You want a drink? Okay.
Two Brazilian nationals have provided conflicting stories as to how well they know each other. And suspecting they are here for more than a holiday, as they claim, they have been taken to immigration for further questioning.
So I've had two passengers referred from the back of the hall. Their stories seem a bit vague and inconsistent, so we're just going to talk with them to see what's happening and whether or not they're really tourists or something else going on.
Both men will now be formally interviewed. Officer Laura will question this man, Armstrong, who claims he is simply here for a 45-day holiday.
So why did you choose to come and visit Australia?
Eu pretendo conhecer alguns lugares.
I was wishing to visit the Opera House and walk in the parks and things like that.
Why have you come without your wife?
Desta vez não deu para ela vir.
This time she could not come with me because of her work.
He has no travel plans and has booked a hotel for only the next 3 nights. And Officer Laura is wondering how the man will support himself for the next 45 days.
Do you know anyone in Australia?
Sim.
Yes.
Who do you know?
Ivan.
She is surprised when the man reveals he has a friend on shore, living in Sydney.
Can you confirm how long you've known Ivan for?
Não me lembro bem quantos anos.
I don't remember well, but approximately for 15 years I've known him.
Ele ficou sabendo que eu estava...
Because he knew I was coming to travel in Australia and through his family in Brazil, he contacted me.
If his onshore contact can verify that he is here as a genuine tourist, he may be allowed to enter the country. So Supervising Officer Phil gives Ivan a call.
Yeah, are you aware of anybody that's arriving into Sydney?
But immediately there is a problem.
Oh, okay. Do you know his name? So you don't know his name?
While inspecting the bags of a husband and wife arriving from China, Biosecurity Officer Neville has already located a number of undeclared high-risk food items.
That's okay, wait.
But there is more to come.
You've got eggs. Eggs, very, very bad. Eggs. You've said no. So eggs, corn, chicken, fruit.
The couple have declared only nuts on their incoming passenger card.
More eggs. 16 eggs all up. So that's not bad for saying no.
Eggs from other countries can carry diseases that could wipe out our poultry industry.
That's the risk of avian influenza. Same with the chicken feet. And the fruit, fresh fruit, it's too high risk to let through.
Failing to declare such a large amount of restricted food means this couple could be starting their holiday with a very large fine.
You have a very lucky wife. There's so much food here, huh?
For her, not for me.
This self-employed handyman claims he travelled to Vietnam to visit family, but Border Force officers suspect that may not be the only reason for his trip.
I asked him, how his flight was, how the food was, etc. He told me that he hadn't eaten on the flight, which is quite unusual. They are indicators that he may be concealing something in his body internally.
Officers need to be sure the man is not attempting to bring any illicit substances back into the country.
We'll put all this back quickly. All right.
A swab taken from the inside of his suitcase is negative, but a heavily taped box of food he is carrying will also be checked.
So this is fresh fish, huh?
The passenger stays quiet as Officer Mete checks for any possible concealments.
What's in this one? What's this one for?
It's sauce.
It's sauce. This one's open already.
One of the jars appears to have been tampered with, and a fellow officer is immediately called over to take a swab, which will indicate if there are any narcotics present. But at the bench, the passenger suddenly wants to end the search.
Until I allay my suspicions that there is nothing of concern to us in your baggage or on your person, okay? Yes, I can search your bags, okay? And when I'm happy that there's nothing here of concern to us, then I can let you go.
But this passenger won't be going anywhere just yet. Border Force officers are concerned that this Australian resident may be attempting to bring an illicit substance back into the country after a jar of sauce he is carrying returned a positive result for heroin.
That's come back positive for heroin.
It has?
Maybe asking if he knows anything about that, why that would be.
Okay. Do you remember when we came and did a little test for this?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, all right.
The shop do, but
Yeah,
I
we
believe
did a little test, we took it away to our machine, okay? Now that is a trace detection swab that we did, okay? It picks up trace detections for like narcotics. This one here that we just did before has come back positive. Our machine has come back positive for heroin. Why has this come back for heroin? This is a food.
The food? The food?
Machine say positive for heroin. Why? This is food. Can you explain to me why? Our machine says this is positive for heroin.
I don't know. You know that one here. Before my brother, he buy for me,
Your wife's?
No, my brother.
Your brother buy for you?
Yeah.
And gave this to you to bring here?
Bring here?
So your brother buy this?
I believe him. You know, he never do it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Because it is very unusual for a food item that I test to come back for a narcotic, a drug, like heroin. Very unusual. So your brother buy this for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
The man is adamant that the jars do not contain narcotics, but officers need a little more convincing.
In the past, passengers have concealed narcotics in food items, in jars, etc. Very similar to what we have here today.
Are you happy to do the frisk here, or would you like to go to a private room? Okay, no one will here.
A frisk search will check for any concealments on his body. Meanwhile, an X-ray of the jars indicates possible anomalies.
It's a gooey paste, fish paste.
There's something inside.
This one okay. This one is good too. These here, not allowed.
This couple have come to Melbourne for a holiday, and they've packed some of their favourite grocery items.
Your passport. So is this your first time in Australia?
Yes.
All right.
They are carrying eggs, chicken feet, fruit and vegetables, which all pose a serious biosecurity threat to Australia.
They've sort of indicated it's their first time here in Australia, but with the way the items were distributed through all the luggage and not declared, I think it warrants a $360 fine. $360 fine for not declaring your food. All right? Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
The offending items are confiscated, and the passengers agree to pay the $360 fine.
The card's in their language. They understood the questions on the card. I'm more than positive about that. And they've just got nuts on here. So there was more than nuts in their bag, so that's why I'm fining them today.
Hopefully, these first-time visitors have learned a valuable lesson.
aware of anybody that's arriving into Sydney?
Border Force officers are trying to work out if this passenger is here as a genuine tourist, and they have called his onshore contact, Ivan, who he says he has known for 15 years.
So you actually don't know his name? Do you know his first name at least?
But Ivan doesn't seem to know a few crucial details about the passenger.
Ivan wasn't able to give us the name of the traveller. Okay, he doesn't know his name. He couldn't even give me a nickname or a colloquial name or any other identifier. He says he simply does not know his name. He claims that he met him in 2015 to 2016 when he travelled to Brazil, and he met him in the passenger's hometown. Now, he advised that, yeah, he's happy to help him, but he doesn't really know, nor can he guarantee that he's here for tourism purposes.
With so many inconsistencies in the passenger's story, Officer Laura has little choice but to take the next step.
I've made out this form for you, and it's a notice of intention to consider cancellation of your visa. When viewed collectively, the lack of details regarding your planned tourism onshore, your limited funds for this trip, and the inconsistencies between your statements and your onshore contact are of concerns.
Border Force officers are inspecting some jars of fish sauce that have returned a positive result for traces of heroin and appear to contain anomalies when X-rayed. The X-ray is inconclusive, so the jars are taken for further examination, while the passenger is being frisk searched.
Okay, thank you, sir.
The frisk search is clear, but Officer Mete needs to check one more thing.
He told me that he hadn't eaten on the flight, which is quite unusual. It's an 8-hour flight from Vietnam to Sydney.
My officers aren't wondering whether you've actually swallowed something or have something inside your stomach. So what we have here, here's an X-ray machine. We can just quickly put you through it. It scans your body and we can see if there's anything inside.
The passenger consents to a body scan, which will reveal if he's carrying narcotics internally. While back in the tool room, officers have examined the jars of fish sauce and they are now satisfied there is nothing concealed inside. And the body scan is complete.
It's come back negative. But it is important that we go through all these processes to make sure that he has nothing of concern to us. But we have conducted everything that we need to allay all our suspicions, and now we will release the passenger. He can be on his way home.
Border Force officers strongly suspect these two Brazilian men are not coming here for a holiday, as they claim. They have both been issued with a notice of intention to consider cancelling their visas, and this passenger, Armstrong, has a final chance to plead his case.
Sobre o que ela falou
regarding coming here to see Australia, if I'm not allowed to stay here, it's really going to affect me a lot because I spend a lot of money and there was my dream to come and get to know Australia.
His response fails to address the many contradictions in his story, and Officer Laura informs the passenger of her final decision.
After weighing up all of the information available to me, I was satisfied that grounds for cancelling your visa outweigh the reasons for not cancelling. And my decision is to cancel your visa.
His so-called dream holiday in Australia is over before it began.
Although he tried to pull his story together, he tried to give the right information about a trip to Australia, it really didn't make sense. And I'm sure that I made the right decision because I don't think he's a genuine visitor.